Hey, it's Eric with HoosierCycles. I've got a 96 Diamondback Reactor, which is a 24-inch cruiser. It's been abused. It hasn't been taken care of very well. It's been sitting out in the elements for a while. My plan is just kind of break this down, clean up some the components and replace some of the stuff, and just do a quick turnaround on it, get it back out, and get it in somebody's hands that can use it again. Right now, the bottom bracket's pretty froze up. Chain needs to be replaced, and the bars are some old dynos somebody put on here. I'll replace those with some chrome ones or some black cruiser ones. So that's the plan, just break it down and then get started with cleaning up the frame. The frame needs to be actually repolished. It's aluminum, but I've got to clean up all the oxidization on it and get it rideable. made some progress. There's the old finish there. And this is a little bit of polishing. Not too much time. I'm not sure exactly how much. I can look at the camera and see where we're at, but it does come back as long as there's not any deep pitting. Just take that top layer of dullness off and it comes right back. So it kind of gives you an idea. You don't necessarily have to have a die grinder or a polishing pad. You could just use some elbow grease. And here's the original wheel set. It's a fluted hubs here, and they're really nice, but the rims are just, they're bent. Got some spokes bent. So I'm just, if I pass this on to somebody, I'm going to include the wheel set, but I'm going to throw these on. These came off a mountain bike. I know it's just a steel hub. I'm pretty sure it's a free wheel. It is. But they're really nice shape. And I think they'll just be a nice little rider for somebody. Throw that wheel set on. I'm going to upgrade to a V-brake. And dump the cantilevers. But I'll keep all the original stuff with it. That's salvageable. So a lot more to go on this one. I'm going to knock off for today and hit it tomorrow. Alright, so the Diamondback's ready to go back together, and it's going to be a survivor, not a museum quality piece. So we retained the crank here. This is a 180 arm chromoly, which is highly unusual anymore these days, and it's got like a profile, that probably is a profile, chain ring on there. It just kind of pieced back together, so it could be a good rider for somebody. I didn't want to bore you with putting the bottom bracket in. You've seen me do that 1,000 times. So I'm just going to start assembling it, and let's see what we end up with. Okay, the 96 Diamondback Reactor. Just a good rider, not a restoration. A lot of hodgepodge parts put back together. Wheel set was taken from a mountain bike. I got that at Second Cycle. And just redished the rear wheel. It had a 6-speed or 7-speed on it. So I just spun on a single freewheel. The crank is a 180 chromoly original Diamondback. And the profile looking crank chainring is original. The pedals were a stamped Diamondback, the original ones, but these are just VP 550s. I had to replace them because I don't have that single one on there. Fork is chromoly. The threadless stem is a factory. And I did replace a headset with a Chris King that I had saved for a long time. The bars are brand new, SEs, the big ones. About 31 across and 8-inch rise on them. I like the look. Grips are new. So really the only thing new on this one is the bars, the grips, the cable, and the housing. All the rest has just been put together, picked up used parts here and there. Tecro V-brake, replaced the cantilever. The most over-engineered seat post clamp you'll ever find on a bike. It's got adjustment for the front and rear. And this seat is a Velo or a Velo, however you want to pronounce it, but a gripper it's called. Have an old school, mid-school plastic, not comfortable. So salvage another one from the grips of the junk pile here. Going to get it back on the road for somebody. Alright, thanks for finding the channel. If you're a regular subscriber, thanks for watching. And if you're new, please subscribe. I got a lot of different videos on bike builds. This is Eric with HoosierCycles. Thanks for tuning in.